Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for hopping on a Thursday night. TGIF, we're super excited for the weekend here at the Goring household. Tonight we invited you on to learn a little bit about cellular activation and this whole premises behind nutrigenomics, which is a huge word that my friend Holly is going to talk about. And I'm going to introduce Holly, who's joining us tonight in a minute here. But before we started, I kind of want to talk about how I was introduced to LifeVantage and our products. Many of you know that I struggled with a history of undiagnosed Lyme disease, and a journey it has been. So about 2 years ago, a really good friend and team business partner now came to me with these products, and she introduced it about the cellular activation, which I was completely new to. I was taking a granny pillbox full of supplements at the time, and the science really like caught my eye. And Katrina, my friend, being the one who I trusted with lots of research and digging into the sourcing of things, I took a look because I was skeptic. There's so many things out there, and just not knowing, is this real? Is it going to work? But because it was her, it was one of those things that I knew it was worth, digging into. So what I found out and what you're going to learn about tonight was amazing, and it's been life-changing for my family. Many of you know that I struggled with anxiety, insomnia. I had a lot of chronic pain, hormonal issues. All three of my kids, because I went undiagnosed for so long, contracted Lyme disease through utero. So all of them were born with major health issues. We had GI issues, a lot of neuro concentration, bipolar type like behavior. My oldest struggled with migraines and headaches. So these products have been huge for our healing. And Holly Tomet, who's with us tonight, she's going to kind of talk to you guys about everything that I've given you a little snippet about. So Holly, I've known Holly now for 2 years. She's a friend, she's a mentor, she's a business partner, and this mom wears lots of hats. So they own horse stables, they have businesses on the side, and she juggles all of this with homeschooling her kids. So Holly, I'm going to leave the floor to you now, and you can kind of share with us a little bit more about cellular activation.
Thank you, Liz. I know we do this often, and I never get tired of hearing your story. We say that all the time because almost every time you share that, I pick up something else. I'm like, oh my gosh, what must that have been like? So I'm always thankful when you share that. Yes, my name's Holly, and I live in Ada, Michigan, just outside of Grand Rapids. So Liz and I are sort of neighbors. So we get people on here from all over the country, which is amazing. And I've been part of this company now for 2.5 years. 3 years ago, I was homeschooling our kids. We're running a couple of businesses, like Liz said. I train horses and I coach students, and I was doing that a lot, which took up a lot of my time. And I love my job. I love what I do. I've done it for all of my adult life. But time was just going way too fast for me. And with our family and our kids, we have a 16-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. I have a stepdaughter who's 25 and just got married, and things were just going too fast. They were growing up too fast. And I was constantly working. And if I wasn't working, I wasn't getting paid. And then along comes the products for me, which I was super skeptical about. Much like Liz, we had this whole cupboard full of products from our natural path. And I'm like, I do not need something else to take. Like, I'm good. But my best friend persistently shared with me, and I finally opened my eyes to the science and the studies behind it. And I was amazed, like Liz was. We have a similar structures to our story in that way. And fast forward, I finally tried the products, and it was just life-changing for myself and my husband, and so great, like for our kids, our horses, our dog. We are all activated. So I'm super excited to be able to share this with you. And now I'm actually, 2.5 years into this. I'm retired in my 40s. I teach and train now when I want to, not because I have to. This company is amazing. The products are amazing. The science, I'm hoping you'll think with us tonight, is equally amazing. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys now, and let's take a look at this. All right, can you guys see that okay? I'm going to minimize y'all because otherwise you take up too much room on my screen and I can't. There you go. Okay. Oh, now I don't see you at all. I don't like that. There, I got to see somebody. Otherwise I feel like I'm all by myself. All right, so you can see that. All right, Liz, we're good? All righty. So we are going to take a look here at what LifeVantage has to offer. You may have heard this, maybe you didn't, but our little motto is flip the switch. You're going to learn how there's actual switches inside your body that we can flip to help your body function like God intended it to do. So every day we're being hijacked. There's 80, now they say 80,000 toxins in our environment that we are bombarded with every day. Everything from the heavy metals, minerals, pesticides, EMF radiation. We don't sleep well, right? Everybody's sick. We have allergies, we have insomnia, we have headaches, we have autoimmune disorders, and most of it stems back to all of these toxins our body is trying to fight on a daily basis. So what do we do about that? We're going to talk about something called oxidative stress, and that is what all of those toxins contribute to, are high levels of oxidative stress. Okay, so think about that apple you see here on the screen and that outer skin protecting the inside of that apple. And when that disintegrates, we see oxidative stress happen. That apple starts to turn brown. We know what that looks like. So we do know, however, that we do have genes that are capable of healing inside our body. We like to call these survival genes. So wouldn't we like to know how to activate these survival genes? I know I wanted to know because it sounded pretty awesome. So there is a pathway in our body called the NRF2 pathway. And so this company got to work when they realized there might be a way to turn that switch back on. This pathway just so happens to be responsible for the production of antioxidants, oxidative stress, antioxidants. Okay, so we need to fight the oxidative stress with our antioxidant production in our body, which actually declines as we age and is one of the root causes for aging. So watch this apple here in front of you. It's almost like we are reversing the aging process when we flip this switch back on, you guys. It's amazing. We found that we can lower oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days and up to 70% in 90 days. This is clinically proven. We are a nutraceutical and we still are approved by the FDA as far as this claim goes. Okay, this has been clinically proven in studies. So we do want to eat well. We want to drink fruits and healthy drinks and do our juicing and do our fruits and our vegetables and have good nutrition, but it can only do so much. And you cannot consume enough good nutrition to fight the level of oxidative stress in your body. There's been no way until this came along that was significant in reducing the levels of oxidative stress. So you can take blueberries and you can take oranges and you can take those antioxidants and those direct antioxidants. They're fighting these free radicals on a one-to-one basis. Now let's flip this pathway on, this NRF2 pathway, and now we're talking about 1,000,000 to 1, you guys, 1,000,000 to 1. We have trillions of free radicals in our body every day that we are fighting. Now we're talking some business. Instead of a 1-to-1 ratio, those direct antioxidants that you want to take, that you want to eat, turn your body's system back on. And now you've got like this raging fire hose on this oxidative stress problem that we have. So let's look at this video. It's going to explain it a little better than I was able to. It's about 4 minutes long.
It's Diane. So sorry.
Free radicals are naturally occurring molecules that can cause serious damage in your body. If free radicals are allowed to overwhelm your body's ability to fight them, they can adversely alter lipids, proteins, and DNA, triggering a number of health concerns. Fortunately, scientists have made a remarkable breakthrough that promises to give your body a natural aid in the fight against free radicals. It's called NRF2 activation. And according to researchers, it's a powerful process that stimulates antioxidant production and can wake up your body's ability to stay healthy. Understanding NRF2 activation begins with understanding how oxidative stress caused by free radicals affects your body. Free radicals are a natural result of your body's metabolic processes. Under normal circumstances, your body also produces antioxidants, which neutralize free radicals and limit the damage they can do to your cells. It's a bit like having a factory in your cells that produces enough antioxidants to keep the free radicals under control. But exposure to X-rays, ozone, cigarette smoke, inflammation, air pollution, industrial chemicals, and even exercise can overwhelm the body's natural responses to free radicals, allowing them to wreak havoc on your cells and your health. Over time, the damage to your cells and DNA turns off the power in the cell's factory, reducing our ability to create antioxidants and leaving us vulnerable to premature aging and health concerns. Fortunately, science has given us the ability to turn the power back on. NRF2 activation. NRF2 is a protein messenger that binds itself to DNA and is a master regulator of the body's aging process. Through the study of nutrigenomics, scientists have discovered that certain phytochemicals found naturally in foods turn on our ability to create antioxidants to combat aging and preserve health. Protandim is specially formulated with an optimal blend of these phytochemicals found in foods like turmeric and green tea. This patented blend is formulated to turn on the NRF2 biochemical switch that creates and releases the antioxidants your body needs to fight free radicals. And what do scientists say about NRF2 activation? In just the last 10 years, researchers have published more than 500 studies about the power of NRF2 to activate your body's natural response to free radicals. One recent peer-reviewed study from Washington State University calls NRF2 activation one of the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthroughs in the history of medicine. For more than a decade, LifeVantage has been the leader in developing effective natural NRF2 activation supplements like Protandim. We're excited to share the power of this breakthrough to create a healthier life for you and your loved ones for years to come.
That video does such a better job than I can do. I'm so thankful for that little short 4-minute tool that we have. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts now. We're going to talk about some studies. Okay, I don't know about you, but the stuff I had in my cabinet before this came along, I promise you had no studies on it. So I don't know what you're taking, what you take on a daily basis as far as vitamins or supplements of any kind. But I'd be curious to know if you know of any studies that are done on it. So there's this great site called pubmed.gov. You can go here and you can find the peer-reviewed patented studies that we have on this product, this branded product, not just the ingredients, but actual patented or peer-reviewed studies on this. And we do have 7 patents as well. So pubmed.gov is a great source of information. This product, unlike all the other stuff I had in my cabinet 3 years ago, has multiple studies on it. We now have 30 peer-reviewed studies by places like Harvard, Washington State, American Heart Association. You guys, American Heart Association has never, ever studied a natural product. It's just unheard of. We have some top cardiologists in the country, part of this company now, because this got their attention. We have some great videos that you can watch that they've shared their insight as well. But look at these publications, these institutions that have shared this information, done their own studies on it. So if you haven't seen the ABC Primetime report, many years ago, ABC Primetime did their own investigative report into this product when they saw some of the studies that were coming out. And obviously they're kind of going to debunk this, and instead it went the opposite direction. In fact, that investigative journalist is still on the product because his blood work changed dramatically within 10 days. That sparked this whole slew of other people and associations or institutions going, we need to study this as well. So I love having that backing. Let's look at just a couple of my favorite studies. The NIA is the National Institute of Aging. And for like 20 years, they were trying to find something that could extend life. Wouldn't that be amazing? 20 years, they finally pulled in Protandim. And if you might not have time to read this whole thing, but just a couple keynotes from the conclusion of this study, which I absolutely love. We were the only product in 20 years proven to extend life in male mice by 7%. And I love on the bottom, I've missed this before, but look at what this says on the bottom, you guys. Protandim was chosen for testing based on positive indications on its ability to suppress tumor-promoting oxidative stress, cell proliferation and inflammation, and the ability to protect the heart from oxidative stress and fibrosis in studies published prior to 2010. You guys, that's huge. They already saw what this was doing in those areas. So the NIA pulled this into their study, and lo and behold, we're the only product ever proven to extend. Like, can you imagine if Big Pharma had their hands on that? That'd be crazy. Here's another study I love. This is a big pharma company, and I love to do things a natural way. So if we can beat out Big Pharma on something, I'm all for it. And I love this. This was a synthetic NRF2 activators. Remember, we're activating these pathways. We're doing it naturally. This was a synthetic activator made by this big pharma company, and it was targeted just for MS. And they were trying to show how great their product was, and they pulled in our Protandim is just one of the things to compare it to and look at the result of this. Interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer and therefore maybe the most suited as a therapeutic strategy. You guys, it's $1.67 a day. This was a $50,000 drug with side effects. And then you have our natural activator. I love that study. Here's one more for you. This was in a medical journal. Really cool thing they did. They know now that not all of our genes are set. Okay. So think about if you have a family history of heart disease or colon cancer or something like that. Or breast cancer, right? We always thought, oh my gosh, my chances of getting this are so much worse because of my family history. That is not true anymore, you guys. They have found out that 95% of our genes can actually be tuned away from disease through nutrition and environment. That's huge. Only 5% of our genes are actually set. So in this study, what they did is they took these gene markers from 3 specific chronic health conditions. They had heart disease, colon cancer, and Alzheimer's. And if you can see, if you're on a phone, it might be kind of small, but we have pictures of the study we can share with you. If you look in the first column with the little arrows, see all those arrows going up? That means that it's going towards disease. Okay, we don't want that. The second line of arrows is after they introduced Protandim. And look what happened to these gene markers, you guys. Almost every single arrow flipped the opposite direction away from disease. That's amazing. If you remember in the video, if you caught it towards the end, Washington State University said, after their studies and research on this, that NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future, may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. That's awesome. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about antioxidant production. So what happens? Well, it declines as we age, and we start out, we're young, we're youthful, our production is very, very high. It declines. And by the time we're in our 80s, it's next to nothing. What happens when we introduce Protandim? Look at that. This is what happened to John Kionis in the ABC primetime. They drew his blood before, and it was 10 days later, and they had to reduce his oxidative stress by an astronomical amount, and he's still on the product to this day. So we didn't stop there. So we figured out we could activate this NRF2 pathway. Well, what else could we do? We took that technology and we found out we could activate the NRF1 pathway, and this addresses our mitochondria in our cells. These are the powerhouses, right? They're in charge of our energy and what's used to make sure our cells function properly. And we found out we could activate that with, and again, 5 natural ingredients. You can learn more about that from whoever invited you to this. And then we went one step further and we found out we could activate the NAD protein molecule. Again, it's a lot of science, but we can break this down for you in our wellness group. We have some videos that explain this really well too. But the NAD protein molecule is responsible for our production of what's called sirtuins. I had never heard of sirtuins before, but they're like the CEO of our cell. They're responsible for just about every activity that happens in our cells. Without the sirtuins, you guys, we're dead in 30 seconds. Like, they are hugely important. And again, like the antioxidants, they decline as we age. And so we found that with our NAD activator, we can increase our sirtuin levels by 100% in 24 hours. There's nothing else that does that. And this in conjunction with NRF2 and NRF1, they synergistically work together. So the trio, it's called the tri-synergizer, is incredibly powerful. We have separate studies on that as well. And we took it even further. We now took our NRF2 activation. It is in skincare, it is in hair care, and it's even in formula for our dogs and our cats, because obviously if you have pets, we love them, want them to feel well. Our dog is a 12-year-old Australian Shepherd, and she was showing signs of aging. This has helped her a ton. My 29-year-old horse improved dramatically. He got off all of his drugs that he was taking to help him to just feel better because he's very old. This was remarkable for him as well. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to come back and share it in a minute, but I want to talk to you about the company just real briefly. So I'm going to stop share, but we're going to go back in just a second. And I'm glad, Diane, you got back on. That's awesome. So we talk about this. I'd never heard of this social sharing, okay, social retail. I was like, what is that all about? But I love how that was explained to me. It was said, if I refer somebody to, like we do this all the time, right? A favorite book, a favorite movie, a favorite restaurant, and we don't get paid for that. We do it because it brings us joy to share something that we love with someone else. But the restaurant I send my friends to, they don't give me a portion of their bill when they check out right after eating. And this is the beauty of this business. So we share things that we love and that we know can help people, but the company pays us to share. These products needed a story that went on store shelves after the ABC primetime video, and the company just about went under, because after the initial millions of orders that came in, they had no market, they had no marketing team, they had no sales team. And when the hoopla kind of died down, it was like nobody was explaining what this did. And so it needed to be put in the hands of people like us, like Liz and myself and some of the other ones that know what I'm talking about on here, to share this story. And now we're at over $230 million in annual sales, and we're in over 20 countries and just growing like crazy. But the awesome thing is, what happens is I refer someone to the product and the company pays me. And then they refer someone and the company pays me, and they refer someone and it goes down, and I get paid down 9 different levels. The company continues to pay me for all of those other people that referred once I referred. And so I don't know of a better business model than that, right? I find that to be just amazing. I'm going to talk to you a little more about the company. So let me share my screen again. I want to go a little deeper into this. Okay, so what is LifeVantage? It's an 11-year-old company. We're publicly traded. We are in Utah. We are debt-free. We have an amazing board and a field advisory board. These guys, that is incredible what they do for us. They take such good care of our distributors, and they put out the best tools and information for everybody to learn about this. The trend, you guys, right now is huge. This trend in health, they've had a 60% increase in wellness sales just in the last 8 years. In this last year alone, there was a survey done. People are madly passionate now about wanting to be healthier, and for good reason. There's $600 billion plus in market research in these categories alone, and we are now in every single one of these categories. So how do we do this? You guys, I'm a homeschool mom. I trained horses. If I can do this, anyone can do this, right? What I wanted was time freedom. I wanted more time with my family. I wanted to not be having to work so many hours and not here to make dinner for my kids and be with my husband, because they're my favorite people in the world. And so look at this business model, you guys. We get to work from home or wherever we are. I run my business from my phone. You literally have a virtual office. You have no inventory, you have no quotas to fill. You can start your business for as little as a couple $100s a month on up to $1,200, depending on where you want to come in at. We talked about social sharing. That's what we're doing. We're sharing this information with people that we love and care about, so they can feel like I feel and like Liz feels. Who doesn't want to do that? You get your own online store, your own website. People literally order right from your link. It's so simple. The system is so simple. We get paid daily, weekly, and monthly. And we get to travel. In 2019, I had an all expense paid trip to Utah and to Ireland. And this year in May, I get a trip to Florida. They've already booked my flight and hotel for me, which I can't wait to go there. And because we're publicly traded, The beauty of this is everything is transparent and out in the open. So take a look at this chart right here. You can find this as public information, but look at a couple highlights here. So the average Pro 3 in this company, look at average time it takes to get to the rank of Pro 3 is 8 months. People do it in 2 months and in 3 months, but we're going on average, okay? And the average income for a Pro 3 is a little over $600 a month. That's a car payment, you guys. That's extra spending money. That's paying off debt. That's money to travel with, like whatever it is that would, you know, help you with. That's not pocket change. That's a pretty good little side hustle there. Go to the next big step in the company, which is the Pro 5. Now you're making over $36,000 a year from your side hustle. And look how long it took to get there. I mean, who doesn't want to do this? You guys, 16 months to start making an income that's residual, that's leveraged over $36,000 a year. Yes, please. Now I'm sitting at a Pro 6 right now, working my way to Pro 7, but check out what the Pro 7 gets. Less than 3 years average time to get there. And look at the average monthly income, you guys, $13,000 a month. I can't even fathom that kind of money. All I know is sitting at a Pro 6, I was able to retire and I'm able to spend way more time with my family, do the things that we love to do. So the opportunity is huge. We are leading the forefront of this whole movement. No one else can touch us. We have patented products that no one else has. Like I said, you can come in anywhere from $50 for the starter kit plus an order, so you can earn commissions all the way up to $1,250. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. The system's amazing. That literally, you guys, I run the business from my phone. It is an app, and it's just, I can't even tell you how amazing it is. Every time they update that app, I'm just like totally in love with it. So where do you go from here? Where do you want to come in at? Do you want to, you know, get more information? Do you have some questions that need to be answered? Are you ready to start and be a customer? Or do you want to join the team and maybe create some income for yourself, even if you share with a couple people? That's what I came in as. I was just like, I thought I might share with a friend or two, but why not let the company pay me? Little did I know it was going to turn into something as big as it is, but I'm so glad I did it. Okay. That I'm going to stop with that. And if anybody has any questions, I'll keep recording now. I'll keep recording for a minute though, Liz, just in case someone has questions. Brenda, you have a question? You can unmute. Oh, yeah, good. Good.
I have two questions.
Yes.
Some of my friends that I'm talking to have younger kids.
Mhm.
So I think Liz mentioned she had younger kids. You have younger kids. How do they do taking those pills, and can you split them
Yes.
or crush them, or
Yep.
how do the kids do with those? Because that's what some of the people were asking about when I showed them the yellow pill.
Yeah. So as a nutraceutical, right, they're never going to say on the package that they are targeted for children, because we can't. I mean, we're so we just can't do that. But they're herbs. They're definitely safe. And my kids are on them, and I have friends with littles that are on them, and they cut it down to a quarter pill or half a pill. We usually go by weight. So they're pretty easy to split. Even our dog, I split. She just gets the human pill because she's a bigger dog. So I just do that rather than the pet formula. But yeah, and then our son can't swallow pills. So we crush his and we put it in a milkshake with organic fruit and oat milk, which he loves. Liz, do your kiddos swallow pills okay? Like, do you have to do
Yeah, I was just going to kind of add to that. So they say kind of the rule of thumb is 70 pounds and under, like a half a pill. So I have three kids, and my oldest can swallow pills. So she takes a whole. She's 13 now. So she's actually taking that. She takes the NRF one, the 2 NRF ones, and then she also takes our probiotics. And then my little ones, since they can't swallow, I do the same thing. It crushes super easy with the back of a spoon. And then my kids can take it like in a soy yogurt that we use. But it does have a strong herbal taste. And so it is one of those things, like my kids are pretty tough, and they just know they have to do it because I'm mom. But I've heard people use like peanut butter. Yeah, I've heard people like you want to get something like Holly uses a shake.
Yeah.
I've heard peanut butter. I've even heard someone did hot fudge. There's a couple great posts in Life Activated. If you search up NRF2 and kids, there's like some protein power bites, they call them, where you crush it up and it's like oats and peanut butter. And my kids like that. It was that was very mild tasting. But otherwise, yeah.
You get creative. Yeah. But yes, it's safe. And yes, there's ways you can cut it down to quarter to a half, whatever it is they need for whatever age they are.
Well,
Okay.
and then Axio also is like a huge staple. You know, I kind of mentioned in the beginning that I had a little one that has like some focusing and concentration issues. And I started her, well, we've been on the products now for probably 2 years. And when a month or 2 months in, we went to conferences, and actually her teacher made a comment, and this is even, I had not even told her I was doing anything different with her at home as far as like doing the activation. But the first thing she said, she's like, I've noticed such a difference with Allie's focus and concentration. And it was like light bulb went off, because we'd seen things at home too with her doing like puzzles and sitting down and reading and Legos and things that she's just too busy. Like she would never take the time to kind of like concentrate on one thing. She's like that squirrel kid. Not diagnosed ADHD, but definitely some tendencies with the ADD at least. But the Axio is like been a huge game changer for her. And then
with your kids, you put it in like a bigger bottle of water or smaller, or does it matter with kids?
I always tell people like 16 ounces of water, and if they like it a little bit diluted, like not as sweet, to add like 20 ounces of water. And then my two little ones will split one. And then my oldest,
Okay.
she is like, she needs her Axio before every sporting event. Like the kid is like a runner, a soccer player, everything. And she is like, it's like her energy boost. Like she believes in it so much. And so do I. I'm a trainer, so I definitely know the science behind it, and it's, approved for athletes, and I can tell a difference too pre-workouts.
Yes, definitely.
I have Diane asking, she's texting me. She said,
Yeah.
can you ask, what if someone is on high blood pressure pills prescriptions?
Yeah, so there's no contraindications with any meds. The only time we tell people to be very careful is if they're on some kind of like immunosuppressant after a transplant of some sort. Blood pressure meds, it does, what we've seen in people is it does tend to regulate blood pressure. So it's good to monitor that, but there's no reason not to take it. It shouldn't interfere with any medications at all.
And I had one of my residents that has COPD. I gave it to her guardian, the information sheets, because I said, leery because of her COPD. And in one of your videos, I can't remember who it was in, they said, if your doctor says no, ask them why. And so I said that to the gentleman, and he brought the sheet to the doctor last week. And he said, well, he can't say yes and he can't say no. And because he said, it was herb, a natural supplement.
Yeah.
So he was more taken aback that the doctor said that, and I didn't know how to.
What I like to say, Brenda, to everybody, whenever they're talking to someone in the medical field that may or may not be open to something besides big pharma, right? Because doctors are just trained, I know you know this, to put Band-Aids on the symptoms and not address the root cause. And we actually have the power to address, we're not claiming to heal anything, or be a cure for anything, but we know the body's powerful. So if we address the root cause of these issues, you expect to see some changes in your body in a positive way. And so oftentimes what we like to tell people to ask their doctors is, would it benefit me to reduce my oxidative stress? Any doctor that's worth anything should say yes to that. And if you have a product that reduces it in studies by 40% in 30 days, then that's a no-brainer. If your doctor says, yes, reduce your oxidative stress, that is beneficial to you, then why would you not take a product clinically proven to do that?
Okay.
So that usually makes people have a little better, like a more comfortable path to go down. Because some people do just hinge on every word their doctor says, right? Like, it's just like, oh, I could never do it. They don't know. Some of them don't know. And so many doctors do know now. We have like 3,500 medical professionals in this company now because of what they've learned that it does. But not everybody knows. In fact, like less than 1% of the US population knows. So it's our job to get the word out there.
Like the world nowadays.
Yeah. And it's so different than supplementation. And I kind of shared at the beginning how I was taking all these supplements. And so little by little, as I ran out of those old supplements, I just didn't replace them. And my blood work was all over the board. Like I said, I suffered from chronic Lyme for 18 years. So there was so much work to be done as far as healing.
Wow.
And the thing for myself was like, what made sense in the beginning was like, oh, getting to the root cause, healing the cell. Like I knew that my cells were so toxic. And so that premises alone was like, okay, well, it makes sense. Healthy cell, healthy body, unhealthy cell, unhealthy body. It was like just a simple little verse right there was like enough for me to be like, I just got to try this. And I'm so thankful that I did. And like I said, I hopped on to doing the products first before getting into the business side, but I was having such great outcomes, even a couple months in, you know, because they say with at least NRF2 to give it a month for every decade you are old to fully see its benefits. And for myself, because I had so much to heal, like I knew it was going to take longer, but I was sleeping better. My anxiety had, you know, it was definitely decreased. And then when I started seeing differences in my kids too, it was like, you know, I was referring people to Katrina. Katrina's like, Liz, this is something that you'd easily try to at least pay for your own products. And I was kind of like, yeah, you're right. You know, I'm sharing because it's, for me, it's, this business is about helping others and really a service. And it's like, I can't not share this. And I think that that's kind of where I started. And now it's like, I'm super passionate about doing this and being here tonight to share with all of you. But
and when we're asked, you know, would we, my big thing was when someone says, I didn't want to do the business either. I love the products, but in the beginning, I did not want anything to do with the business. We had 3 businesses, but then I was like, I've been praying for a way out of my crazy hectic lifestyle. I've been praying and I'm just like, why am I saying no to this? Like, maybe this is it. And then look at what it's done. But when someone said, would you share this if you weren't getting paid? Yeah, I did for months. I shared it for months without getting paid because that's how passionate I was about, like you said, sharing this with people. I'm going to stop recording this. We can keep chatting, answer questions, but just in case you're sending this along, we don't want it to get too lengthy. So thank you for hopping on.
Well, thank you, Holly, for taking the time tonight to share with everyone and kind of give us a little bit and reach out with questions that you have. And, you know, we just appreciate your time too.
I have a couple more questions, sorry.
Okay, I'll stop recording, then we can continue to chat a minute, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for hopping
If you
on.
don't mind, or I can text whatever. Diane is asking me more questions than I had a couple too.
Nope, that's fine.